Good afternoon. I'll give you the update I have as far as injuries and where we're at there. So today, at least, Jamarcus Ingram will not be here. He's excused for a personal family situation. Brandon Codrington will not practice. He's dealing with a hamstring. And then everyone else will practice, including Amari. Amari's back, and he'll practice. So walkthrough style practice for us today, and the time is yours.
How worrisome is the Codrington situation, since he is your primary return guy, and how much of a plan would be after that?
Yeah, no, he's been our primary return guy all year, so we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out one way or the other. If he can go, great. If he can't, then we'll figure something out.
Sean, 6th year in a row in the postseason, haven't yet got to the outcome you want to. How do you create that different outcome this year without straying away from all the things that have made you consistently, repeatedly successful in the regular season?
I mean, I think there's very few teams that go on a very clean straight line in terms of their path to their goal. So most of the time there's a journey of some ups and downs and some learns as you go through things and dealing with some adversity. So no different for us in that way. We learn from it, we embrace it, and we try, to your point, to keep things as consistent as possible, especially this time of year.
One of your main focuses has been that idea of unfinished business with this team? I mean, is that something that's on your mind? Like, you've been a number 2 seed for 3 years in a row. Is that part of the mindset that we have a lot of unfinished business here?
Well, every year is different. I know why you're saying that. So every year is different, and every team takes on its own identity. So I would say yes and no. I'd say yes because of it is in our history of not getting to accomplish our ultimate goal year to year. But at the end of the day, we've had a lot of success, and it's a hard thing to win in this league. And you're looking at an AFC that is loaded with high-level teams, and it starts right from the start with week 1 for us of a really good football team, the Denver Broncos here.
And that's in that sense, how do you, with each team being different over the years, how do you feel this team is trending going into the playoffs? It seems to be on an upward trajectory as opposed to maybe being a little bit flat in previous years, or different in the differences.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into the different vibes of the different teams going into the playoffs. They're all different. To your point, John, I think what's most important is where we're at as a team, and right now it's Wednesday. We're focused on what we've got to do and taking it one day at a time and going out to have a good practice. You guys know that. I think that consistent approach is what's best for us, and got a lot of work to do, quite frankly. Like I said, the challenge is a big challenge. Good football team with a Super Bowl winning coach, and a team that's very talented across the board, all 3 phases. The return game with Mims, Pro Bowl returner. Their defense, starting with their defensive line, very talented, affecting the quarterback, and then their offense has done a phenomenal job in moving the ball and keeping the ball and not turning the ball over. So a big challenge for us.
You said Terrell Bernard is trending in the right direction. What are you expecting for him?
He'll be good to go. Yeah, at this point, he's good to go. Yeah.
Facing one of the NFL's best defenses, how does the balance your team has, both in terms of pass run and just in terms of target share and the whole philosophy that goes right back to OTAs, how does that set you up to face their defense in this game effectively?
Listen, they're a really good defense. Vance Joseph has been a great defensive coordinator for a number of years, and they're talented, as I said. So, we've got to make sure that we've got everything buttoned up, the details we need in order to execute at the level we're going to need to execute at. And then we got to take it one play at a time and take what they give us at the same time, because it's a heck of a challenge.
A lot of playoff games come down to the fourth quarter. What's your message to the team about being prepared and comfortable for tight situations, and how much do you discuss that?
Well, that's day one in the off season. That's day one in spring. When we start the journey, it's developing a certain approach, a certain mindset, a certain expectations or process, as some people refer to it as. So that really starts. That doesn't change this time of year for us.
The common theme with Josh has been overcoming doubters, critics, challenges, or whatever. And this year, overcoming the questions about his turnovers. With all the doubters, which seems to have been a theme a lot with Josh this year, what do you make of John Elway saying one of his biggest regrets being not drafting Josh in 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people with those regrets. So, we're fortunate that we have Josh Allen, and he's been really good for us, and he's a great person. That's, as you know, not just on the field, but he's out in the community and making an impact in our community. And I think that's just as important as the level of play to which he's played, in particular this year.
And just as a follow-up, how much has that fueled him, do you think? Is part of his DNA, as you would put it, just overcoming or showing up people who question him?
Yeah, I think most of us, Josh included, accept those challenges and use them in the right way.
Sean, you faced Sean Payton a few times, his offense, over the last few years here, but going back to Carolina twice a year against his offense, what makes it so challenging to face his offense?
Well, there's a lot of intricacies to his offense. There's a lot of different personnel groupings used, and he does a great job putting his players in position. And as was mentioned earlier, with a two-dimensional offense, and they're tough to defend for a lot of reasons. One of which is what he's able to do from a play caller standpoint.
You got a season's worth of tape now on Bo Nix, but he is still a rookie. How do you evaluate or prepare for a player with less experience versus a quarterback who's a veteran who's maybe seen a lot more of the NFL game?
Yeah, it's interesting because in this case he is a rookie, but I think he broke a record for the number of snaps played in the collegiate game. So he seems extremely poised for a young quarterback, and I've been very impressed with his mobility, his ability to extend plays. He makes a lot of plays with his arm as well, and I think they got a real good one over there.
How impressive has their pass rush been going up against your team that's given up the fewest sacks? How impressive is the Broncos pass rush?
Yeah, like I said earlier, they're top team in the NFL in terms of rushing the passer. I think like one in every drop back passes turns into a sack. That's what the stats say. So you turn the film on, it pops off the film at how well they come off the ball, and how fast they play. Like I said, extremely talented. Then they have a number one corner in Surtain back there, and usually when you have that type of that formula, if you will, you've got a strong defense on your hands, and that's the case in this situation.
Obviously, the production for Von vastly different this year than a year ago. What have you seen from him throughout this season that is different from what you saw from him a year ago, maybe physically or even just his presence with the team?
He's certainly healthier, removed another X amount of months removed from the injury, and that frees you up a little bit more. So, I just appreciate how he continues to take it one day at a time.
Talked on Monday about how much of an emphasis is being put on third down defense. From your perspective, when you guys have struggled in that department this season, what's been the issue?
Boy, it's not just been one area. I don't think it's ever one area. If it was, it'd be easy to pinpoint and solve. Overall, how do we get there with our front four? Right, that's where it starts. You guys know I talk about that every year. I feel like as we talk about their defensive line, you're talking about our defensive line. How well can your front four affect the quarterback? And then that symmetry between them and your coverage units in terms of you got to be able to make the quarterback hold the ball, and it's got to pair up together. And then when you pair up the blitzes with the blitz coverage, so it all works together, separate, but in addition to how many third and longs can you get a team into versus third and short. So that's kind of the statistical side of things.
Sean, a lot of times after games that you've won, you credited winning the battle up front. A lot of times after games you've lost, you said that you lost the battle up front. How important is it as simple as that in this game as winning that up front?
I guess I could leave and go home then today, right? We wouldn't need to practice. No, I mean, that's big every week, Josh, to your point. And it is important this week. So, we get into that a little bit more tomorrow with our team in terms of what the plan is. But our O-line and our D-line, every week they've got to play at a high level. And that's a big part of who we are.
Every year up to this, you've had safeties that have had a ton of experience in the playoffs at a comfort level. Taylor's obviously had some of that before too, and a little bit last year. But how comfortable are you? I know they played a lot of snaps in New England. How comfortable are you with those guys, where they've been, and now going into this next step of the playoffs?
Yeah, there'll be some newness to it a little bit, Mike, with DeMar getting back out there. And Mike and Jordan were out there for a number of years, to your point. Maybe the last couple not always as fresh and as healthy as they would have liked to have been, but they gave us all they had. And so this is a new opportunity for a new tandem out there. And so I'm excited to watch those guys, and then yet factor Cole into that and how he's been able to grow this year in the last 3 or 4 outings. So I'm excited about those guys.